Hi everyone, this is BB Sangmay, and today I'm going to discuss about the design considerations of machined parts and welded parts. Okay, so in the previous lecture we have discussed regarding the design considerations of welding and forging. So do subscribe for the latest videos of machine design. Machined components are widely used in all industrial products. They are usually made from ferrous and non-ferrous metals. They are as small as miniature gear in a wristwatch and as large as a huge turbine housing. Machined components are used under the following circumstances. First is the components requiring precision and high dimensional accuracy. In that case, we have to go for the machining. The components requires flatness, roundness, parallelism or circularity for their proper functioning. In that case also machining is required. The components of interchangeable assembly. The components which are in relative motion with each other or with some fixed part. So these are the few circumstances in which a design engineer may have to go for the selection of machining procedure. The general principles for the design of machined parts are as follows. First is avoid machining. Machining operations increases the cost of the component. So as a design engineer should try to avoid the machining, because components made by casting or forming methods are usually cheaper because they are used as it is after the manufacturing or after the production. Therefore, as far as possible, the design engineer should avoid the machined surfaces to save the cost or to reduce the cost. Second is the specify liberal tolerances. The secondary machining operations like grinding is there, reaming is there. These are costly machining operations. Therefore, depending upon the functional requirement of the component, the design engineer should specify the most liberal dimensional and geometric tolerances. Closer the tolerances, the higher will be cost there. Avoid sharp corners. A design engineer should avoid the sharp corners because sharp corners results in the stress concentration. Therefore, the designer should avoid the sharp corners and shapes that requires or that result into sharp corners. Use stock dimensions. A design engineer should go for the selection of raw material like bars, okay, because they are available in standard sizes. Using stock dimension eliminates the machining operations. Okay, for example, a hexagonal bar can be used for a bolt and only threaded portion can be machined. Okay, so that will be easy. Okay, so this will eliminate the machining of hexagonal surfaces because the creating hexagonal profile on a circular stock is quite difficult one, and it is also time consuming. So ultimately it is going to increase the cost of the component. So instead of that, design engineer should select the hexagonal rod or hexagonal bar for the manufacturing or a bolt. A design engineer should go for the design of rigid parts. Any machining operation such as a turning or shaping induces cutting forces on the components. The component should be rigid enough to withstand these forces, otherwise the machining stresses will get induced in the component. So in this respect, a component with thin walls or webs should be avoided, otherwise while doing the machining, failure of component may occur. Sixth is the avoid shoulders and undercuts, because the shoulders and undercuts actually involve separate operations and separate tools are required for the machining or preparation of shoulders and undercuts, which increases the cost of machining because the special tools are required. Again, avoid hard materials. Hard materials are difficult to machine, as we know that, and they should be avoided unless such properties are essential for the functional requirement of the product. Otherwise the breaking of tool may occur. Okay, so many difficulties are there for during the machining of hard materials. So to avoid those difficulties, hard materials should be avoided. Let us discuss about the design considerations of welded assemblies. Welding is the most important method of joining the parts into a complex assembly. Design of welded joints is explained in separate chapter on welded joints. I am going to discuss in the design of joints chapter. Okay, so in the upcoming videos I will discuss about the design of joints. In this article, a general principle in design of welded assemblies I am going to discuss here. Okay, so here you can see the various types of welded joints. You can see the lap joints, butt joints, fillet joints are there. Okay, so various types of welded joints I have shown here. There are some guidelines for the design of welded assemblies. Selection of material with high weldability. As a design engineer should select the material with low carbon steel is more easily weldable than high carbon steel. High carbon content tends to harden the welded joint, as a result of which the weld is susceptible to cracks. Because of the high carbon content, as we know that the welding is the process of localized heating and melting. Okay, so during that process, the part which solidifies, the part which is melted, it solidifies very rapidly because of the surrounding part is kept at the room temperature, so heat dissipation will get faster. So for the faster solidification rates, whatever the high carbon content inside the plate or inside the component, that becomes brittle because of the fast solidification rate, it is converted into sometimes carbides. Okay, so for ease of welding, maximum carbon is preferable. Maximum carbon is actually 0.22%. Use of minimum number of welds. As we know that welding is the process of localized heating and melting of the metal. Okay, so a distortion is a serious problem in welded assemblies. So to avoid the distortion, minimum number of welds are preferable. It creates difficulties in maintaining correct shape, dimensions and tolerances of finished assemblies. Okay, so the design engineer should go for the minimum number of welds. A metallic plate or a component does not distort when it is heated or cooled as a total unit uniformly. As I have already said that in the welding process, a localized heating and melting is there. Okay, so due to localized heating and melting, the remaining part which is not get heated or melted, that will have the room temperature, and the part which is held heated and welded, that will have the high temperature. So high dissipation rate will be there, heat dissipation rate will be there. So because of that, there is a maximum chances of warping of the welded unit. Okay, so in welding, however, only the adjoining area of the joint is heated up, which has no freedom to expand or contract. Okay, so uneven expansion and contraction in this adjoining area and parent metal results in distortion. So to avoid the distortion, minimum number of welds is the good decision one. Okay, so when distortion is prevented by clamping fixture, again we can provide the welding fixtures to avoid the distortion. That is going to result, if you provide the welding fixtures, that is going to induce the residual stresses in the welded parts. Okay, and again further annealing is required to relieve these residual stresses. So again the cost is going to increase. So since distortion is always occurs in welding, the design engineer should involve minimum number of welds and avoid over welding. It will not only reduce the distortion but also the cost. Third is do not shape the parts based on casting or forging. In designing a welded assembly to replace a casting, it is incorrect to duplicate its appearance or shape by providing protrusions, brackets and housing. The design engineer should appreciate that welded assemblies are different from castings, having an appearance of their own. A correctly designed welded assembly is much lighter than the corresponding casting. So welding is having advantages over the casting, but we cannot mitigate the casting as it is while doing the welding. or shape of the component of the casting which is to be fabricated by using welding. It should reflect its lightweight characteristics, flexibility and economy of the material. Avoid straps, laps and stiffeners. The stiffness of a plate can be increased by making bends, indentations in the form of ribs or configurations by press working. If at all a stiffener is required to provide rigidity to the plate, it should be designed properly with a minimum weight. Okay, so straps, laps and stiffeners should be avoided. Use of separate stiffener involves additional welding, increases the distortion and cost also. Selection of proper location of weld is also important part. Okay, so there are two aspects of selecting the correct location of a welded joint. The welded joint should be located in an area where stresses and deflections are not critical. Okay, so this care should be must be taken by the design engineer, okay, to while finalizing the location of welds. Also, it should be located at such places that the welder and welding machine has unobstructed access to that location. Okay, so a welder or welding machine can easily access the location which is to be welded, so that care should be taken. It should be possible to carry out pre-welding machining, post-welding heat treatment and finally weld inspection at the location of the weld. Okay, so after the welding, sometimes the pre-welding machining and before the welding, pre-welding machining is required. Sometimes after the welding, post-welding heat treatments are required. So while finalizing the proper location of weld, design engineer should check that whether the locations are easily accessible for the worker or not, for the welder or not. Prescribe correct sequence of welding. Again, the sequence of welding is also going to matter. The designer should consider the sequence in which the parts should be welded together for minimum distortion. Okay, so that kind of sequence should be followed, in which that sequence the minimum amount of distortion should be there. So this is particularly important for the complex jobs involving number of welds. Okay, so many structures are also there which are having the welding, so a proper sequence should be followed to avoid the maximum distortion. To minimize the distortion, a proper sequence is required. And incorrect sequence of welding causes distortion and sometimes the cracks in the weld metal due to the stress concentration at some point in fabrication. A correct welding sequence distributes and balances the forces and stresses induced by the weld contraction. For example, to prevent the angular distortion in double V butt joint, a sequence is recommended to lay welding runs alternatively on the opposite sides of the weld. Correct sequence also matters. Incorrect sequence can induce the cracks, stresses inside the welded components. So I have shown few examples of correct and incorrect weld types in the figure. In this both figure here you can see that the type A is the incorrect method of welding and type B represents the correct method of welding. Okay, so it is necessary to prepare the bevel edges for the components prior to welding operation. This preparation work can be totally eliminated by making a slight change in arrangement of components, which is shown in figure. Okay, so many times fabrication is carried out by cutting steel plates followed by the welding. Okay, so a proper location, also a proper way of welding is required. A proper method of welding for the reduction of scrap, for the saving the material. Okay, so these are the few design considerations while doing the welding assemblies. Okay, thank you.